Looking back on my 20s, I found myself in a toxic marriage and making all kinds of decisions that I thought were best for me and were setting me up for a successful future, but was I wrong? Now that I look back on that time of my life, I realized that I was making my journey harder and I was creating obstacles for myself. Unfortunately, I had to experience later on in life. I don't share that with you because I regret my past so much. I'm sharing it with you because I would love to help you avoid some of the pain, the missteps, the bad financial decisions, and just the bad decisions overall that I made early in my 20s. So whether you are 20 in your 20s or you're in your 30s or you're just looking to grow, today I'm going to be sharing with you 20 things that I wish I knew in my 20s that are helping me to live my best life now and today in my 40s. Number one thing that I want to share with you is you are who you are, not what you do. And I can't tell you how many times that I have associated my worth with what it was that I actually did. Whether I was a business coach or consultant, whether or not I was a payroll manager or a prestigious businesswoman, or all the different things that I've been over the course of 40 plus years, I started to associate my purpose and my worth with the many different hats that I would wear and the many different things that I would do. And what I want to say to you today is please do not do that. I want to let you know that you are worth it. You are 100% worth it. Whether you are a mom or a dad or a student or a manager or a boss or a business owner, or you have a leadership position in the church or wherever you are in life, whether or not you're just in a space of quiet. Maybe you're not where you feel that you're not progressing right now. I want to let you know that you are 100% worth it. You are who you are. God chose you to be here on this earth for a very special reason. To experience life and to grow, to experience change, to love and to find relationships and to just flow. So even if you are in a quiet space of flow and you don't feel like you're progressing right now, I want to let you know that you are who you are. You matter as is, and you are not what you do. Number two, material things tend to lose their luster over time. So as you age, you mature. I like to use the word mature. I prefer the word mature. So as I have matured, material things have lost their luster for me over time. And I know that that may not be the case for everybody. If you are more materialistic than the next person, or you like nice things, there's nothing wrong with that. But I find that as I grow and I mature, the value that I place on material things has gotten less and less and less. It's gone down and down and down because I more so value my relationships. I value my time. I value relaxation and calm and my peace, if I were to sum it up. So some of the things that I thought mattered to me, like we brought one house, and that was, we started out with a townhouse, and then we went to a bigger house. And then from there we went to an even larger house. And it's just, first we drove one type of car, and then we upgraded to this luxury car and that luxury car. And, look, can I have certain name brands of clothing? Like eventually it all looks like the same. It all starts to lose its luster, and you start to value things like your health. Am I saving properly? Am I loving others properly? Am I spending time with those that mean the most to me? So that's just one thing that I want you to keep in mind, is focus more so on the people that you love. Focus more so on loving yourself, being happy, enjoying life, creating experiences, versus focusing on just money, obtaining material things, because over time, those things start to mean less and less. Now, number three is a big one, and it took me forever to learn number three, and that is money grows when you respect it. When you respect it. I know that a lot of you may be asking questions like, when is my money going to grow? I'm working overtime, or I am running 3 or 4 businesses and I'm up all night, or I'm working and I'm running a business. A lot of you may be asking yourself, what am I missing? Why is my money not growing the way that I want it to? So then you go out there and you add on that second job, or you add on that second business or income producing activity. Have you ever thought that possibly it's not necessarily that you need to add on another stream of income? Maybe you need to add in more knowledge and wisdom concerning money. So when I started to pray and ask God to give me more wisdom, like, God, can you impart more wisdom in me concerning my money? Can you lead me to the resources and information that I need so that I can sharpen my knowledge about the money? And I started opening myself up and being willing to actually learn more about money. That's when such a great learning curve began, where I started to learn how to save, how to budget, how to manage money, how to pay people, how to pay off my debts, different methods for paying off my debts, how to pay myself, right? How to respect myself, how to give my money intentionally. And when I really started to respect money, give it a place, give it something to do, my money started to grow more and more. So sometimes you think that you need to add on multiple streams of income and you need to work as hard as you can. You know how they say, team, no sleep, stay up all night, work as hard as you can. Sometimes it is your lack of knowledge around that thing that you want that is keeping you from making more of it. And number 4 is no one cares. No one cares as much as you think they do, guys. This is one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned. It's what has me here on camera. It's what has me speaking on stages. It's what has me going after my dreams, standing up for myself, speaking up for myself, and doing so many of the things that I have to do, the hard things that I have to do on a daily basis. It's because of the realization that nobody really cares. Nobody really cares that much about you. We are all the main character energy in our own lives. We don't mean to be selfish, but I think every person is a tinge bit selfish because we are the main player in our storyline, in the storylines of our own lives, right? So where you think somebody is sitting at home thinking about you and the mistake you made and what you did and how you hit that record button on your YouTube channel and you stutter a lot and you don't have the biggest vocabulary. These people are home paying bills, cooking dinner, falling asleep, taking naps, spending time with their kids, arguing with their husband or wife, or they're doing so many other things and they're focused on so many other things. You only got their attention for a millisecond. So stop governing your life behind what other people think of you. The only opinion that matters is your opinion of you and God's opinion of you. Stop living your life according to what other people think of you and start only thinking about what you think of you, because that's what really matters. Number 5 is also huge, and that is nothing really matters, but yet everything does. If you can just get this, you can have so much peace and stress-free living. Realize that nothing really matters. At the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, life is like a game. We ought not take ourselves so serious. I can think back on all of the hardships and problems that I've had in the past and challenges that I thought were huge, as big as a mountain. I thought I would never get through some of the situations that I was in. But now that I look back on my past, I realized, guys, that some of the things that I was going through were just temporary. They were just making me stronger. They were just teaching me lessons. Even some of the heartbreaks and disappointments were molding and shaping me into the woman that I am today. So try not to take yourself overly seriously, while at the same time being very intentional and careful about the decisions that you are making, because there are some decisions that you make that can really set you up for some serious heartbreak and some serious issues in the future. So remember, nothing really does matter, but everything actually does matter all at the same time. And number 6, don't worry about anything, but pray about everything. Worry is not going to cause you anything but puffy, baggy eyes, a loss of rest, disease and sickness. It wastes away your days. It steals and robs your peace, right? So if you can choose worry and you can choose trust, why not choose trust and pray about everything? Cast your cares on the Lord instead of holding on to them, right? Because it really just does get in your way and makes things harder for yourself when you are focused around what's going wrong in your life versus casting those cares away. We were not created to carry around worry and fear. It really does drag us down. It makes us heavy and it doesn't make anything better. And what outcome do you recall ever changing because you laid up all night and worried about it? I think about mine and I cannot find one single one. So make sure that you don't worry about anything and instead pray about everything. Number 7 is don't expect for people to be you. Don't expect for people to treat you the way that you treat them. And at the same time, choose your relationships wisely. Your relationship choices are going to be some of the most important choices that you are going to make in life, because it is true. You are the company that you keep. So if you choose to put yourself around toxic energy, God forbid you're that toxic energy that people need to stay away from. Hopefully you're not. And I don't believe you are, because you landed on this channel. But you want to make sure that you are selecting your relationships wisely, but at the same time, realize that people are not you. People don't communicate that you like you do. People don't have the upbringing that you have. People don't love you and won't love you the way that you love them. It doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them incapable. It doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they have a different style of expressing themselves. They have a different style of loving others. So first, choose your relationships wisely. Once you do that, please make room and space for people to be who they are. It's a very, very beautiful thing when you open yourself up, not to toxic love, which isn't really love, but it's really a beautiful thing when you open yourself up to just a spectrum of like different types of people, different types of relationships, and different types of styles of being loved. It makes life so much more beautiful when you allow that difference to exist. Number 8 is one of my favorite points. What I want you to know is that your dream life isn't necessarily so far out of reach. I think most people think that the life that they want, they have to do so much to get the life that they want. They have to do the most and they have to have the most to get the life that they want. And living the life that you want may look different from person to person. Like living the life I want may look like I live in a 6,000 square foot home and I have the big backyard and I have a housekeeper or whatever it is that I might desire. That might look like that for me, but somebody else may have different desires. I'm not saying those are necessarily my desires or what my dream life looks like. And one of the questions that I like to give you today for you to ask yourself whether or not because sometimes we feel like we don't know what exactly our dream life is. If you feel like you don't have full clarity on that, I want you to ask yourself, if you lived in a place where no one cared what kind of car you drive, no one cared about your makeup, no one cared about your physique, no one cared about how much money you make or your status, no one cared about the type of house you have, would you care? Would you care? I want you to tell me in the comments, would you really care? If you lived in a place where none of that stuff mattered, would you still care to achieve it, obtain it? Would you still care? Would you still change yourself and stress yourself to have those things if you lived in a place where it didn't matter? I know for me, when I thought long and hard on that question, I realized that I didn't really care. That name brand bags and this and that really and truly doesn't matter to me that much. Having the biggest house on the block doesn't really matter to me that much. I just want the freedom to be able to do what I please with my money, with my family. I want to be able to travel at my leisure whenever I want to and go different places and see the world. And I want to be able to come back to my cozy home and just enjoy love, just enjoy the love of my friends and family. That's what wealth looks like to me. So what I want you to do is just to ask yourself today, what does wealth really look like for me? And make sure that the things that you're going hard for are the things that you actually really and truly want. And you're not going hard for just things that are going to impress other people. That's a big one that I had to bite and I had to chew and I had to be truthful with myself on. But once I faced my own truth and my own reality, I realized that my dreams were a lot closer to me than I thought. And it really gave me some breakthrough in that area. And number 9, the person that you have been searching for is you. Let me tell you something. You can get the perfect spouse. You can have your soulmate girlfriend, your bestie or whatever, whoever you meet in life or whatever you achieve in life. If you don't learn that you're really searching for you and you don't first be everything to yourself that you need to be to yourself, what you are going to find is that there's an emptiness that comes behind achievement. There's an emptiness that comes behind success. And what I noticed in my own life over the last 40 plus years, I have to smile every time I say that, but what I've noticed is that I would set a goal, knock it down, achieve it. Meaning that every time I would set a big goal for myself or I would go after something, I would find joy in the pursuit of that goal. But once I got that goal, same thing would be waiting for me on the other side. And that was disappointment, loneliness, discontentment. So I just kept chasing the rush, the adrenaline rush of achieving something. But once I actually did achieve it, it would lose its luster. So I had to start to ask myself, what's the real problem? Well, I was looking for validation. I was looking for that pat on the back, that job well done. And a lot of that stems from childhood, right? And trauma around childhood. We're imperfect adults trying to raise little people. And because we're so imperfect and we haven't fully healed ourselves, sometimes, we install certain things in our children and make impressions that we don't mean to, and sometimes we hurt people in the process, which is just a human thing and something that we do. We don't do it on purpose, but it happens. So there are some traumas that happened for me in my childhood that maybe I've carried, and I was looking for praise. Why don't I just start to show myself some grace? Why don't I just start to acknowledge that, you know what, girl, you did a good job. And I'm encouraging you to do the same, to really get behind what it is that you're really aiming for, because really you're looking for you. You're really looking for you to show up for you. And if you keep abandoning yourself in that area, you'll kind of keep missing yourself every single time. And just trust me, no one else is going to be able to come and fix and heal that void. Imperfect people are not going to be able to make, a perfect situation for you ever. So you want to show up for yourself and you want to give to yourself that thing that you're looking for. And number 10, love does not have to hurt. I don't know how many times you may have heard that love hurts. It does not have to hurt. I don't know how many especially hurtful romantic relationships that I had to go through until I got to my husband of 12 years, 13 years now. I always kind of get messed up on the timeline, but around there. I don't know how many frogs I had to kiss before I found, the love of my life. The love with him doesn't hurt. I'm not going to say that we occasionally don't unintentionally do or say things to one another that may hurt the other person. Of course, that would happen in any human interaction in relationship. But overall, the relationship is very healthy, very safe, and secure. And we are honest with one another and we can lean on one another. And it's just a very beautiful thing. So there are more good experiences than there are bad experiences. I can say overall that love does not hurt. And so I just don't want you to walk around thinking that, oh, this relationship hurts and it's toxic and it feels so bad because love is supposed to hurt. That's just the process of love. Well, that's not true. It does not have to hurt. Number 11, you are allowed to change. My sister, my brother, you are allowed to change and evolve. There is no rule that says that you have to be the same person for the rest of your life, that you have to do the same thing for the rest of your life. You have permission from today on, and you've been had permission to evolve and to change, okay? They call me the jack of all trades, the queen of change. I have changed my identity. I mean, not my name, but I've become probably 100 different people over the last 40 plus years, and I've given myself freedom to do so, and I've done so unapologetically, and so should you. If you decide that, you know what, this isn't the way I want to feel every day, this isn't what I want my life to look like, you have the power to start taking steps to reinvent yourself and your life, be somebody different and do different things. And you can do so without having to apologize or explain to anybody about it. You're free to go and be somebody different if that's what you choose to do. And number 12, as you age and mature, time tends to move faster. And it may not really move faster, but it really does start to feel like my days are just like flying off the shelf, right? Time's going fast, so learn to value your time. Time is the most precious commodity. I would advise you not to spend it wasting it on relationships or people or doing things that are not a good value for your time. So always be very mindful of your time, how you spend it, how you exchange it, who you spend it with, because it is one of the most precious things that you have and that I have. And number 13 is to forgive others, okay? And listen. If you don't do it for them, you need to do it for you. Nobody likes an old bitter Betty, an old bitter person who has hard feelings and hurt for so many people, and it's stored up inside to the point it's starting to affect your countenance and to the point you're starting to take scissors and cut off your blessings. Nobody wants to deal with somebody who's bitter. You don't want to deal with yourself when you're bitter. I can't tell you how many things it's going to cut you off from when you operate in bitterness. So please, release and forgive other people. If you cannot do it for them, do it for yourself. Definitely, if you're having trouble forgiving, find your way to a therapist or talk to God about, loosening up your heartstrings and finding room in your heart to be able to forgive others. And number 14 is you don't need a business to be wealthy. I'm surprised that I'm actually saying this, guys, but you don't need a business to achieve wealth. There are many ways that you can learn how to multiply your money. The key is to learn how to, number one, make your money, whether that be a 9-to-5 or whether that be a business. Learn how to keep your money, learn how to save your money, learn how to multiply your money. Right? You're going to need to figure out what your goals are and learn how to do all of those things. And you don't need a business to be able to multiply your money. You don't need a business to be able to manage your money properly. You don't need a business to be able to learn to live below your means. You don't need a business to learn how to save your money. You just need to be very wise and have wisdom when it comes to your money. And you need to learn how to make that money make more money on itself. So as long as you have those skills, you can definitely achieve your financial goals, of course, depending on what they are. But I used to think that I had to have a business in order to, achieve the wealth and the life that I desire. And I'm learning today that that's not exactly true. And number 15 is a perspective change can change anything. And sometimes a perspective change, guys, is all you need. I can't tell you how many clients I've spoke to over the history of me being a business coach and consultant. And people have said to me that they quit their job and they literally use their last money to speak to me on the call. I advise against that. I advise against doing that, because how are you going to pay your bills? And they say to me, well, this money that I've spent with you and I have a little bit saved to start my business, I'm hoping that my business is going to carry me over and pay my bills. Now, I'm not going to say that anything is impossible. There's probably a few people on earth that have achieved that, who have been able to pull off a business very, very quickly and became multimillionaires or more from this idea that they had. I'm not going to say it's never happened for anybody, but for the average person starting and running a business, building momentum, gaining clients or selling products and actually being able to be profitable, guys, it can be hard. It can be a very, very hard thing to do. And it's taken many of us years to be able to do it very successfully. So sometimes a change in perspective needs to come about your job. I consider jobs seed money. Jobs are seed money, especially if you're a business owner. Working a job gives you seeds to be able to plant, to create whatever else that you want to create, because most likely you are not going to be able to create a successful business or a successful life off of nothing, off of no money at all. So sometimes it's just shifting your perspective about the things that you have to do that can make all the difference. Number 16, don't let what you want in the future sabotage what you have now. I've heard so many sob stories, and some of them, unfortunately, are with people that are very close to home, people that I'm very close to, who have made decisions their entire adult life that were all for this future outcome that they wanted. And then that future outcome never came. The decisions were much too risky. The decisions were much too spontaneous and weren't well thought out. And as a result, they pretty much sabotaged their entire future because they were running after this thing. So you want to be very careful that you really do take time to write down your goals. You look at them, you dissect them, you learn as much as you can about them, and that you go about your goals and obtain them in a very responsible way, in a well thought out way, because you don't want to throw away everything that you have in pursuit of something that you may never get. And I'm not trying to be negative, but you definitely want to take steps towards your goals in a very responsible and reasonable way, so that while you're taking steps on your future, you're also protecting your future at the same time. So I know you've heard number 17 before. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I've heard it, and I've heard it again, like a broken record, over and over again. And I never really believed it, because I'm not naturally your biggest planner. I'm more of a spontaneous, fun-loving person. And I don't like for everything to be rigid and scheduled. But guys, it really is true. And it really, really does work. This year was the first year that I planned out my entire year with my team, literally my entire year, what that got to look like, even scheduling in rest periods, respecting and honoring my rest periods as well. And let me tell you something, we're only in February going into March. That's my dog running around there. But we're only in February going into March. But let me tell you that I have never had a more productive start to my year. And I really do believe that that is because I have planned out everything, even though I'm not your biggest planner, and I'm checking in with those goals and plans to see how those are going. Every day I'm planning my day. I keep my calendar scheduled out, guys. Trust me when I say that if you want to see yourself successful, really push yourself to have more of a plan, because it really, really does work. And number 18 is to build consistent habits that your future self will thank you for. It's not all about goal setting, guys. It's not all about just saying what you want to do or setting these big, huge goals, and then you're disappointed because you aren't able to achieve them, or you feel you lack the tools to achieve them. It's more about making small, consistent changes in your everyday life that will set you up for future success. Number 19 is treat others how you desire to be treated, because you best believe it will come back your way. Okay, I know some of us, we don't believe in karma. We don't believe in using the word karma, but you reap exactly what you sow. So the seeds that you sow and the way that you treat other people, they tend to come back to you. Even though you don't always see it, or you don't see it in the present moment, trust me when I say, when you do good to others, that good will come to you. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it will come down the line. So definitely treat people how you want them to be treated. There is nothing wrong with smiling. There's nothing wrong with giving people the benefit of the doubt. There's nothing wrong with resisting your need to assume that you know everything about everybody all the time. Learn to treat people with kindness. Learn to be good to people. Learn to have integrity. Watch what you do when no one is watching, because those are the things that are going to come back to you. And I talked ahead of myself as I normally do, but number 20 is integrity. Is what you do when no one else is watching. It's really, really important to do what you do because you have it in your heart to do it, but also because God sees you and God sees every single thing that you do. So you should always aim to be the best person you can be, whether or not people are in the room or whether they see it or not. I know that one of my favorite scriptures says that when you give, you don't even let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. You're doing it because you're a good person. You know, you want to do the right thing and you want to sow those seeds on good ground. So that's why you do it. So my dog is running all around. He's making all kinds of noise. My kids are about to come in. This has been a long one, so let me end it here. Please let me know in the comments which of the 20 life tips that I shared with you today were your favorite, and feel free to share some of yours in the comments, because I know some 20s and 30-year-olds are just people who are just curious and they want to know, because I click on these videos too. Leave it in the comments what your life tips are and which ones were your favorite. Don't forget to connect with me, guys. I've got some great resources and some great links for you to click on. So be sure to subscribe, and I can't wait to talk again with you soon.